Dangerous, very dangerous, because if Anthony Joshua hits him on the chin, he will put him to sleep.
Utter madness that he would run the risk of absolutely jeopardizing his life, because he's not a big heavyweight. He's a small heavyweight. He's 5 inches smaller than Joshua.
This is a real fight. It should be over in 90 seconds because Anthony Joshua is a legit gold medalist, big, heavy, super heavyweight, crazy athlete, awesome power, and Jake Paul just isn't on that level in any way. He's not and he's undersized.
Hold on to your seats, because what Jake Paul is attempting could be the most reckless move in boxing history. Top boxing pros are sounding the alarm, warning that stepping into the ring with Anthony Joshua is walking straight into a storm of knockout power unlike anything Jake has ever faced. Experts stress that this fight pushes safety limits to the edge, and if Joshua lands clean, the outcome could be catastrophic. Gareth A. Davies adds that the massive weight difference makes a full-on fight downright dangerous and ill-advised.
There is a danger in this fight. The odds are Joshua's 1-12. Obviously, Jake Paul is 6-1. Yeah, to win this fight in a 2-horse race in which this is a guy who lost to Tommy Fury, Tyson Fury's brother, in an 8-round fight, who, for me, I wrote that it would damage his legacy a week ago. It will damage his legacy for several reasons. If the Deontay Wilder fight never emerges, which it looks like it isn't, I've been calling for that fight for ages. If those two got in a ring together, it's still a massive fight. It's a dangerous fight to sanction, in my view. It sets the wrong precedent. It is 10-ounce gloves. It is a boxing match. It's not an exhibition. This isn't a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. This is one of the most dangerous finishers in the world, who is probably 5 levels above Jake Paul and a weight division above him. I think it's irresponsible to let those two in a ring together in a proper boxing match. That's my view. It doesn't damage his bank balance, but if he earns 70...
Barry McGuigan doesn't hold back, and his explosive criticism lays bare the fear every seasoned boxer feels when imagining Jake Paul standing across from Anthony Joshua. Having spent decades around true heavy hitters, McGuigan knows exactly how devastating power can be the moment the first punch lands. He warns that Jake is stepping into territory far beyond mere entertainment, influence, or typical boxing matches, where athletic confidence alone cannot save a fighter. Joshua's knockout power isn't hypothetical. It's brutally proven against men far bigger, stronger, and more experienced than Jake. McGuigan emphasizes that Jake, who is still primarily a light heavyweight, has never encountered a fighter with the natural weight, reach, and punching power of Joshua.
Some people are saying, AJ's grabbing the bag. There's nothing wrong with that, because anybody else, if they got offered that kind of money, they would do it. So, yep. And some people are suggesting it might damage his legacy. Where do you sit with the decision of him taking that fight? And it's a professional 8-round fight as well.
Yes, it's a highly dangerous fight for Jake Paul. I don't know what he's doing, unless they have done some sort of caveat or some sort of agreement that he says he's going to go easy on him, or he's not going to go flat out. But I've been tossing this up and down in my mind and trying to figure how, in under God, when he had agreed to fight someone like Tank Davis, who is several divisions below him. That's more like what Jake Paul does, and then he goes from there to fighting Anthony Joshua. I mean, just look at what happened to Francis Ngannou, who's a big, athletic, tough guy and had gone 12 rounds with Tyson Fury and given him a real ding dong, and then he gets absolutely obliterated in a round and a half against Joshua. That shows you, despite the fact that he's been knocked out since by Daniel Dubois, who could knock out anybody, by the way, in any weight division or in any era of the heavyweight division. He's such a powerful guy; he could knock anybody out if he hits them properly. But it just seems utter madness. And
From McGuigan's eyes, Jake isn't stepping into a competitive bout. He's walking straight into a collision with a fighter engineered to obliterate top-tier heavyweights. The size difference is only the tip of the iceberg. Joshua's precision, timing, and raw destructive force, delivered through lightning-fast short punches, punishing uppercuts, and devastating counters, are something Jake has never faced in training. McGuigan's frustration boils over as he sees people trivialize the danger, treating the ring like a safe stage simply because Jake has social media swagger or past victories. For him, this fight isn't about hype. It's a stark reminder of human vulnerability against a genuine heavyweight powerhouse.
Agreement of some kind where he says, I won't go hard on him, or I'll go easy, or I'll spar with him for 8 rounds, because it's just so ridiculous. I mean, if Joshua hits him properly, he'll knock him unconscious. And if he knocks him unconscious and he gets a bleed in his brain and he ends up with a subdural hematoma and goes to hospital and is in dire straits, where does that leave boxing? That puts us in a very, very awkward spot. So it's hard not to believe that they've got some sort of caveat, some sort of agreement whereby, I mean, most heavyweights box with 10-ounce gloves, or sometimes.
Dave Allen takes a clear-eyed view, cutting through the hype to focus on the historical patterns of Jake Paul's fights. He points out that Jake's record has been built in environments where both sides walked away financially happy and physically unscathed. The matchups were carefully controlled and strategically chosen, and the danger level was meticulously managed. But Allen stresses that facing Anthony Joshua is a completely different beast. Joshua is not a celebrity boxer, a retired fighter, or a cruiserweight playing along for a paycheck. He's an active heavyweight champion with a pedigree of brutal knockouts against elite opponents and a history of finishing fights with surgical efficiency. Allen warns that if Joshua brings even a fraction of the intensity he uses against top pros, Jake will encounter something he has never faced before. The risk isn't just a knockout, it's the sheer force of a true heavyweight colliding with a body never conditioned for that magnitude. Even sparring with heavyweights cannot replicate the real fight environment, where punches land without warning, without restraint, and with absolute commitment. For Jake, stepping into the ring with Joshua isn't a crossover spectacle. It's stepping into authentic, high-stakes heavyweight warfare, where every miscalculation could have serious consequences.
But he could have beat Tommy. Could he win the area lightweight title? I'm not sure. Don't know who the champion is. If I had a look, I could tell you, but I'm not sure. He then boxes Nate Diaz. So he's boxed 1 boxer so far, if we're keeping count, and he's beat none. Then he boxes Andre August, who I believe was a pro, and this is now at 14-3, so he's now actually a cruiserweight. Andre August, I'm not sure. Ryan Borland, 17-2. Again, I'm not sure. But fair play, he's beat 2 boxers here. Beat 2 boxers, what can I say? He then fights Mike Perry, who is an MMA fighter, bare knuckle boxer. He's not a glove boxer. He then fights Mike Tyson, which was an exhibition, weren't it really, for all intents and purposes. Now, the big jump here is in 4 months, he's put on 2 stone. So he's put on 2 stone in 4 months. He then boxed Julio Cesar Chavez, and he's now lost 2 stone. He's back down at 14-3, and he beat Chavez, who is a boxer, but has been shot to bits for the last 10 years. So, as far as Jake Paul goes, I don't mind Jake Paul. I don't really know what he does or what he is and what he's achieved in boxing. I would say fair play. I'd say, you know what, mate, why not? I don't blame him. And the money he's made, amazing, buzzing. If people want to watch him box, great. So he started off boxing, I think a YouTuber or 2, basketball player maybe, was he? Some MMA fighters, and he weren't Ngannou, weren't Cyril Gane, weren't Big Madukan Boggs. He was boxing welterweights, middleweights, max, way past the best. But that's also fine, because it's an entertainment game, and it's okay, that's fine. Loses to Tommy, fights a few pro boxers, then fights Mike Tyson, which was a professional contest, but for all intents and purposes, a bit of an exhibition, because To be fair to Jake Paul, he could have flattened Mike Tyson at any time. People say Mike Tyson held him up, he held back. If anyone was holding back, it was Jake.
Some analysts warn that the danger in this fight doesn't just lie with Jake Paul. Anthony Joshua is on the razor's edge too. If Joshua wins but doesn't dominate flawlessly, critics could spin it as a blemish rather than a triumph. One clean punch from Jake could trigger viral headlines, questioning Joshua's sharpness and shaking his reputation. Experts stress that this isn't a crossover spectacle. This is a sanctioned professional bout, recorded permanently on both fighters' careers. Even a hint of hesitation, a moment of vulnerability, or any resistance to finishing Jake decisively could spark doubt about Joshua's status as an elite heavyweight. The stakes are enormous. For Jake, it's a chance to prove legitimacy. For Joshua, it's a high-pressure professional gamble where perfection is mandatory. Every round, every punch, and every reaction will be scrutinized. The skill gap is massive, and the consequences of anything less than dominance are severe. This is more than entertainment. It's career-defining, reputation-shaping, and legacy-altering for both men. If you're as hyped for this clash as we are, smash that like, hit subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Don't miss a single breakdown, update, or inside scoop on one of the most shocking fights of the decade. Stay tuned.